In this week's Parsha, there are two main things I would like to speak about. Parshas Vayeitzei. The first thing is just basically the meaning of the dream based on the Ramban. Then afterwards I'm going to delve a little bit deep into the Midrash that speaks about the kfitzas haderech, the literal jumping of the road or whatever, meaning that someone got somewhere quicker. We'll see the difference of opinion between the Ramban and Rashi, and where this ladder was in the dream, what was underneath it, and okay, I'm not going to explain it because we're just going to get to it in just a minute. But first, if you enjoy these videos, please like and subscribe. It will really help me grow this channel. So let's get to it. So in Parshas Vayeitzei, the Torah starts that Yaakov went out from Be'er Sheva and he went to Charan. He bumped into the place. So Vayifka doesn't mean literally bumped, but maybe unexpectedly or quickly. Vayalan Sham Kiva Shamish, and unexpectedly in this way could mean because the sun set, right? So he couldn't get to a city or whatever, or he couldn't get to get any further. Vaikach Mavnet, so he took from the rocks of the place and he put under his head of Vaishkava Makumhu. He slept over there, and he dreamt, and behold, there's a ladder standing on the ground, and its head was up in the sky, and behold, malachim of Hashem were going up and down. Were going up and down from it. V'nei Hashem nitzav alav, and behold, Hashem was standing over him. Vayomar, and he said, I am Hashem, the God of Abraham and the God of Yitzchak. All the land that I will give you, the land that you're lying underneath, I'll give to you and your offsprings, and so on. And talks about how big Bnei Israel will become. And then Hashem says, and behold, I will be with you, and I'll guard you in all that you go, and I'll bring you back to this land, because I will not forsake you until I do what I commanded, until I do what I spoke to you. Now, it doesn't mean they'll forsake when he does what he spoke to him, but it means he won't forsake him so much, they'll make sure to do everything that he said he was going to do to him. Now, the Ramban explains the dream like this. So, basically, the ladder represents a connection between what we could call the upper world and lower world, and the malachim, or between Hashem and earth. And the malachim are the messengers of Hashem that come down and up, and it's telling and it's showing you that every messenger has a purpose. It comes down, it does what it needs, what its purpose is in the world. It goes right back up to get its next message and instruction and command from Hashem before going down and doing something else. In other words, it doesn't do anything by itself, but everything it gets is from Hashem. But that over here things are run through malachim and Hashem, and then Hashem says something different to Yaakov. You would think that's already nice, how malachim are run everything, but Hashem is observing it all. But Hashem tells Yaakov, no, I am with you, and I will guard you in all you go. In other words, Hashem is telling him, you're not under the malachim. I showed you the malachim and all that. That's everyone else. You're not going to be under malachim. You're my portion. You're going to be under me, and I'm going to protect you, which is a much higher level and a much greater thing than being under what we call the maracha, or being under the nature that Hashem puts through messengers and all of that, and the commands that he gives them through the malachim. So that's what Hashem was telling Yaakov, and that was the point of the dream, to tell him that he's special, that he's going to get this special protection from Hashem himself. And so Yaakov, according to the Ramban, was greater than the normal tzaddikim, that it says about them that because his malachim, his angels, he will command to guard you in all that you go. Yaakov was not in that level. He was in a higher level where Hashem didn't command his angels to guard him, but Hashem guarded him himself. So that's just something very interesting about the dream. Now I'd like to go in more about about where was Yaakov and all of that. And we're going to start, the Ramban, and we're going to start with Rashi. We're going to start with the Ramban who brings Rashi and all of that. Let's start. So, the pasuk says, "Ki'im beis Elokim v'zeh shar shamayim." After Yaakov woke up, he said, "Behold, this is the house of Hashem, and this is the opening of the sky." So, this is the Beis HaMikdash. There's the opening for the davening, the tfilos to come, and for the korbanos to the sky. That's what the Ramban says. Now, Rashi says that Rabbi Eliezer said in the name of Rav Zimra that this sulam was in Be'er Sheva. It was in Be'er Sheva. Its legs were in Be'er Sheva. V'shipur magia ad Beis HaMikdash. I think Shipur would mean the middle or whatever over here. It goes over Yerushalayim. And the end goes to Beis El, because Be'er Sheva is in the south of the portion of Yehuda, and then Yerushalayim is in the north between Binyamin and Yehuda, and Beis El is in the north of Binyamin's border, and therefore it's from south to north. The foot of the sulam by the south by Be'er Sheva, the middle by Yerushalayim, the top by Beis El. So Rashi continues, "V'shamru tzaddik," what the Chachamim say, "Rabbeinu tzaddik zebala beis maloni." This tzaddik came to, meaning Yaakov came to my beis malon, the place, my special place to sleep, meaning that Hashem was speaking about the Beis HaMikdash, meaning that Yaakov came to the Beis HaMikdash. So Rashi is pointing out that it was the Beis HaMikdash that he was at, that area. V'oramur Yaakov called Beisel, and they also say that Yaakov called him Beisel. V'zel luz he v'la Yerushalayim, but that was luz, that wasn't Yerushalayim. So how does this all work out if he was in the by Yerushalayim, but he called it Beisel, and that's luz, not Yerushalayim? So where did they learn to say that it is Yerushalayim? Ani Omer shena ekra har hamaria velakan. Rashi says that har hamaria uprooted and it came to Beis El. V'zoi kfitas ha'aretz she'amura b'shchitas chulin. That's the kfitas ha'aretz or kfitas ha'derech that's said in shchitas chulin. In the Gemara, the Beis HaMikdash came towards him to Beis El, and that's why it says vayifka b'makom, because suddenly it got there, it came there all of a sudden. In other words, Beis El and Yerushalayim were at the head of the ladder, and Be'er Sheva was at the foot, based on at the end of the day, because Yerushalayim came to him. Or that in the dream he saw Yerushalayim in the middle, and but in reality it was it came all the way to Beis El. So Rashi continues and asks, why didn't this happen at the beginning? Why only when he got to Charan? So Rashi answered, and I think it's based on the Gemara, that basically he didn't think of going to daven on the kever of his fathers. Well, not in the kever of his fathers. He didn't think of davening in the place that his fathers had in mind, meaning Be'er Sheva. But Hashem's going to make this happen for him. So, but the second they thought, I should have davened over there, then Hashem made this kfitas haderech happen. So, Rashi's basically concluding over here that Yaakov, it seems like, had in mind to daven in Be'er Sheva, the place that his fathers davened at, a special place, and he got to Beis El, and he came to, and then Yerushalayim jumped to Beis El, and over there he had the dream, and the special dream to show that it's a holy place, and all of that. That's basically what it seems like Rashi's opinion is over here. The Ramban disagrees with this and says that, first of all, kfitas haderech is not like the Rashi says. Rather, kfitas haderech is that someone goes and he gets to the place faster than what he thought originally, or what it should take, like 1 day instead of 3 days, or whatever, like Eliezer, the servant of Avram, from when he went to Charan to get a wife for Yitzchak. So that's what kfitas haderech is. So the Ramban has a different way of explaining this whole Midrash. And first he'll explain Rav Yossi ben Zimran, like Rashi, the one that Rashi brought, the opinion that Rashi brought. But first we have to understand something else. The Torah says, Vayeitzei Yaakov mi Be'er Sheva vayel Charan. Yaakov went out from Be'er Sheva, and he left Be'er Sheva and went to Charan. So why Be'er Sheva? So according to now simple pshat, they lived in Be'er Sheva then. But according to the Midrash, we're going to say that he lived in Hebron, that Yitzchak lived in Hebron. So why didn't it say Yaakov left Hebron to Charan? The answer is that Yaakov decided first to go and daven in Be'er Sheva, the place that his father's davened. And over there he had the dream. And all this that it says, the first pasuk of the Parsha that says he went from Hebron, from Be'er Sheva, and he went to Charan, that's already after the dream. But afterwards it specifies what happened with the dream first in Be'er Sheva, and then goes back to him going to Charan and getting to Charan. So the ladder, the Ramban says the ladder that Yaakov saw, according to Rav Yosef ben Zimran, he saw the feet were in Be'er Sheva, in the place that Yaakov was sleeping, because he was in Be'er Sheva when he had this dream. And the end of its lean, that was the head of the ladder, came until the base of Mikdash, Nismach V'Shamayim, by the sky where the malachim were coming in. And Hashem was standing above him. Therefore, that's how he knew that Be'er Sheva was the opening of the sky for good for tefillas, and Beis Hamikdash was Beis Elokim. That's what he knew. And the morning he got up, Abakar Nasa Yaakov Raglav Be'er Sheva from Be'er Sheva, and he went to Charan in one day. And this was the Kfitzas Aderech. This was his Kfitzas Aderech that the Chachamim talk about, that took him one day from Be'er Sheva to Charan. That's according to Rav Yossi ben Zimra, that according to him, the ladder's feet were standing in Be'er Sheva, and its point, the top of it, got until the base of Mikdash. And that is luz, and not like Rashi who holds that luz is not the base of Mikdash, and therefore there had to be kvitzas ha'aretz. But no, according to Rav Yosef ben Zimran, luz is where the base of Mikdash is, and it's not luz, it's not base El that's in a different area, more towards the north of Eretz Yisrael, that it talks about in Yoshua. And that's the first opinion in the Midrash. Then there's Rabbi Yehuda bar Simon, that he argues in Rabbi Yosef ben Zimran. He says, no, the Sulam was standing in the base of Mikdash, and its lean got until Beis El. Oh, just back, according to Rabbi Yosef ben Zimran, it has to be that Yaakov Avinu put his matzeva in the area of the base of Mikdash, which was Beis El, not in the place that he slept in Be'er Sheva. Okay, now back to Rabbi Yehuda ben Simon. He holds that the ladder's feet were at the base of Mikdash, and its head got until Beis El. And that's the city of Luz, which according to Rabbi Yehuda bar Simon is not where the base of Mikdash is. So therefore he said, this is Beis Elokim, meaning the base of Mikdash, and Beis El Shar Shemaim, the head of the Sum is Shar Shemaim, opening of the sky. So Har HaMoriah is of course good for tefillos, but also Beis El is a proper place to serve Hashem, and therefore he put a matzeva in Beis El, which is not the base of Mikdash. So according to Rabbi Yossi ben Zimra, he put a matzeva at the base of Mikdash area, which was called Beis El. And according to Rabbi Yehuda bar Simon, he put the matzeva in a Beis El, which was not the area of the base of Mikdash, not Yerushalayim. Okay, the Ramban has more details, has more to say about this, and continues on. But that was the basic idea that I wanted to mention over here. So something to think about, and to argue with me if you want to. Anyhow, that's it for today. So please leave a comment if this is interesting to you. And if you enjoy this video, please like and subscribe, and have a good day.